You might have heard that live shopping is exploding. And I have to tell you, I have been on Whatnot for a couple of weeks now, and I see why it is. Now, Whatnot is my sponsor, and they are the reason I got on the platform and checked it out. I'm glad they did. They made it easy for me. I'm going to make it easy for you. I love it. Whatnot is where you get great products without paying full price. It's that simple. I'm hooked on their live shows, too. You got to see them. They're so much fun. And I see why Whatnot has climbed to the top of the App Store. And listen, if you're selling online, or maybe you have a storefront and you're hoping people will find your listing or maybe walk in your store, Whatnot flips that, because on Whatnot, you go live and you sell directly to people in real time. And I may admit, although you didn't hear from me, I may have picked up a couple of power tools or so in the past couple of days. I'm just saying. Whatnot, it's the largest dedicated live shopping platform with beauty, collectibles, electronics, luxury, fashion, even cookies, and anyone can sell. In fact, people who sell on Whatnot sell 10 times as much as any other major marketplace. That's because you're not just listing products, you're building real connections with buyers. So whether you're shopping or you're selling, download the Whatnot app today and get free shipping on your first order. Just search WHATNOT, Whatnot, in the App Store and start scoring amazing deals. So I was whining to my wife the other day, said, I need new glasses. And she said, well, get some. I couldn't tighten them anymore. They were scratched. You know the thing, right? But I didn't want to go through the process because you have to make the appointment. You have to spend weeks to get them done. And you got to pay a fortune, right? That's real. But I did. I spent $500 on frames and glasses, and that was cheap. And then I ordered a pair from my sponsor, Zenni Optical, for $70. Zenni is an online eyewear shop, prescription glasses, sunglasses, blue light lenses, starting at under $30. You go to Zenni.com, you pick a frame, upload your prescription, and they ship it to your door. No appointment, no store, no upsell at the counter. And by the way, if you are saying, do I really need new glasses, or do I have to put up with one pair to do everything I need to do for the next 2 years? No, you can get what you want starting at under $30. And if you've never bought glasses online, don't worry about it. I haven't either. Zenni has a virtual try-on so you can see exactly how the frame looks before you commit to buying them, with no salesman looking at you saying, those look good, but these expensive ones would look better. No, you don't get that. I'm excited. I can't wait to get my Zenni glasses and tell you more about them. If your glasses are overdue for a refresh, now's the time. Go to Zenni.com/podcast and use the code podcast15 for 15% off your first order. The styles sell out, so don't sit on it. That's ZENNI.com/podcast. Promo code podcast15. How are you? Come on in here. Listen, I've been noticing something about you. And you too. Are you late again? Get in here. The show's already started, okay? You too, by the way. And me too. It's not just you, it's me and everybody. You've been saying yes too much to other people, right?
I need a boost. I need a daily boost. I need a boost. I need a daily boost.
Have you ever been sitting around on a Saturday afternoon? The week is finally calm and chilling, right? You're on the sofa. You're into Netflix or maybe binging like Guy Fieri or something on the Food Channel. Then who hasn't done that? Or maybe it's, is it cake? Tell me you haven't done that one, right? But you're there, you're chilling in the afternoon. And suddenly you remember you're going out that night. You're going out for dinner, maybe some friends, good friends. You really do enjoy them. You really do want to go out. But in that moment in time, you're like, why did I say yes? That happened to me the last 2 weeks. I've been busy. All of it self-inflicted. I said yes too much. It's okay. I wish I didn't want to say no. I said yes, but now I was like, why'd I do it? Today, I hurt. My legs hurt. I was at the gym yesterday, walked in, and Daniel, guy that I work out with sometimes, said, hey, man, you want to do legs today? I said, yeah, let's do legs. Yes. Today, I'm saying, why? I should have said no. Do you know how that works, right? So we'll talk about that today as we get into the show. If you haven't sent me a note lately on Instagram, you should do it. You have an obligation every so often to say, hey, or something to me, okay? You do. I do the podcast. You sometimes have to say hi to me. So on Instagram, it's Hey Scott Smith, or you can send me a note to scott@dailyboostpodcast.com. It's your moral obligation to support your local podcaster. Okay, so I was in the kitchen, and I was drinking some coffee. I do that. I'm like, sometimes I get a scratchy throat. I should not be drinking as much coffee as I do, but, old habits. So I'm drinking some coffee, got my phone out there. I'm kind of scrolling through all kinds of messages and kind of checking things out. I keep a pretty strict schedule. I kind of ignore it. But if I'm in the kitchen in the middle of the day and I'm working, I'll kind of multitask, right? So I'm scrolling through all these messages. Man, they seem so urgent. When somebody writes me a message, most people are pretty urgent. Oh, they'll say it really nice. They'll go through ChatGPT to make sure it's worded well. I can tell when you did that. I can't. You're not that nice. I get it. It's too slick. They all seem so important, but somehow I am compelled to say yes to lots of things. It's amazing because when I look at things, nothing dramatic is going on. It's just kind of a normal morning. I mean, they're normal deadlines or normal requests, things like that. Expectations that weren't announced sometimes, they just kind of, I don't know where they come from, but they just show up. A normal day, right? But have you ever noticed that sometimes here you're just being pleasing? You're saying yes to people. You're saying yes to yourself. That's what you think, because we think if I say yes more, if I help and serve other people, I'm going to get more myself. And you are absolutely right when done right. But still, why does your chest get tight? Why do your shoulders get tight? Why do you think, why am I doing this? It's like I was agreeing to 1,000 things that I didn't even agree to agree with. All because other people are kind of leaning on me, and I'm giving these yeses out without even really doing much, and sometimes without even saying a word. Now, for a long time, I thought my life was complicated because the work was complicated. That's what I thought. When I went to work and did things, I do kind of important work, although not always. It's hard to tell. Depending on if you listen to me, maybe it's important, maybe it's not. Big responsibilities will do that to you. I have a business, I have people I support, all kinds of things that can put tension, right? Serious job, serious people. I'll tell you what, standing there that day, I realized, even half awake, something quieter, I think. You know, when it comes to feeling that stress, feeling that craziness, feeling uncontrollable in your life, maybe wanting to retire because you don't want to do it anymore, right? And that's really scary if you're 25. It wasn't the work. Almost everything was a yeses. Yeses I had said. And one thing you'll hear me say a lot if you work with me, I will constantly tell you, it's self-inflicted. Most of it comes from somebody else, but it's self-inflicted because you allowed it in your life and you said yes and you committed yourself to it. I'm not saying don't say yes. I'm saying be choosy. The small yeses, they become big, don't they? I've seen you all. I've seen my family. I've seen me some days. The small yeses literally day by day go, why did I say yes to that? And I'm going to get stuff done. I do what I say, right? The automatic yeses. That can happen. Friends do that a lot. They just assume it's a yes. I do it with my wife all the time, although I've gotten better at it, but I just assume she's going to go along with me. And she does, but I hear about it later. The yeses I never consciously choose. That happens all the time. You ever done that? Just kind of in the moment, you just let it out, not even thinking about it. Over the years, I've said yes to other people's urgency long before I checked in with myself. Easy to do. We live in this world where the pressure comes on, it feels imposed, and you react to it. You don't want to cause any trouble, do you? Because most of us don't want that. It just kind of accumulates over time. So what is going on here? Well, psychologists have known this for a while. In some ways, decision fatigue is about big choices, but not always. Sometimes that stress you feel, that decision that's kind of wearing you out, it's about the volume of those little itty-bitty things that are going on constantly. We're having to choose yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. So what we do is we give up on it. We just automatically say one or the other. And by the way, years ago, I would say, if you're going to default to something, default to no. And I'm not going to say, don't say that now. Yeah, I am. I'm sorry, I was going to try to be nice about it. But the truth is, if you know what you're going to do and you kind of know is the beginning answer to anything else that comes into your world, even though you don't say it out loud, even though you're positive and optimistic, you're just going to be discerning about what happens. If you do that, you're going to be in better shape. And you'll see as we get into the show what I mean by that. Have you ever noticed that sometimes those yeses are kind of inferred because of an action? So a lot of people are not going to agree with me on what I'm about ready to talk about. But I'm an honest guy in terms of how I see the world. I'm an honest. Look, that's weird. I'm honest. Yeah, I am. I walk that talk. I am. But I look at the world clearly. I really do see it clearly. I can watch anything that's going on. I don't care what it is politically. There's been a lot of political stuff happening lately. I can look at that and it doesn't bother me. I can filter it. I can sift it. I can understand it. And probably that's because of my media background. Starting in radio, you kind of hear lots of things. And the training I've done over the years doing this work, I can just see things very, very clearly. But man, this thing gets me in trouble sometimes. So let's talk about the law of reciprocity. Prosody. It's an idea that you may or may not have heard about. A lot of people with this kind of show tend to understand that law, know about the law, don't understand that law. It was popularized big time by Robert Cialdini in his book, Influence. If you're interested in how humans really interact with each other, Influence is a great book to get. It's not inexpensive. I don't have one, by the way, not because it's not inexpensive, because I usually give it away. I probably 10 books so far. I'll buy it again. It'll be on the shelf, and then I'll meet somebody. You need the book, and I give it to them. Nowadays, I send it by Amazon. It's simple. It's deeply human. And a lot of this is causing a problem with your yeses. When someone gives you something first, we feel an automatic urge to give something back. The law of reciprocity. Not because we're weak or you're being manipulated. Not at all. Because that's how you're wired. You're wired for cooperation. It's how humans have survived forever. It's how our tribe, our society survives. Giving creates an invisible sense of balance, as they say. And returning the favor kind of restores the balance, right? You ever felt that way?
I'm not giving up.
I am selling the building.
The final season of FX's The Bear.
The restaurant is flooded.
Everything's either going to be okay.
No, stop.
Or not.
We are outgunned and we are outmanned, but we have each other.
FX's The Bear, the final season. All episodes now streaming on Disney+.
Sure you have. Now, most people think reciprocity works all the time. It does not. You see this constantly online right now. You see it everywhere. But it only really works when it feels real to you. The gift has to come first, right? Somebody gives you something, no strings attached. It has to feel personal, not transactional. The moment somebody thinks they gave me this so I owe them, the spell is broken. Make no mistake, though. You owe them. That's a lesson right now I'm going through. So make no mistake, even though it came with real intention, and maybe you don't owe them, you think you do. I bet you've been to like I'm thinking about a mall. We have an outlet center here in the Daytona Beach area. I forgot what they call them anyway, the outlet place. And they have the vendors out there. And the vendors are very aggressive. They're always pushing something in your hand. And you grab it. And then right after that, they assume you're going to buy and they pull you right in. Now they have your attention, right? And I'll take their thing all day long. It's like the bourbon chicken lady. It's at the Asian restaurant in the mall. Some people still have malls, and some places still have restaurants in the malls. And if they do, they probably have a burger at an Asian restaurant that has bourbon chicken. And bourbon chicken is always out in front. That's the sample. They give away little bites of bourbon chicken. And it's always good. And you can't take one, because if you take one, not only are you obligated to buy the next 10 meals there, you're going to want to anyway, because it's that good. I've gotten really good at taking the bourbon chicken and saying thank you and walk on. Here's the thing about that. When generosity shows up before they ask, when value is freely given, it builds trust, openness, and connection. And that's why, in life and business, the people who constantly give clarity, insight, and help tend to receive more opportunity than they can keep up with. But make no mistake, when you accept a gift from somebody else, you just said yes, and you will pay the price someday. Now, the only way to keep control of this, and maybe to spin this show back in a positive direction, because people say, oh, no, it's true. It's true. And what I just talked about, the law of reciprocity, is a really big reason why you're not saying yes to yourself. And the reason is, think about this. If you're constantly falling under the law of reciprocity and constantly feeling as if, oh yeah, I'll take your gift, and constantly feel as you have an obligation, you've just stacked up a bunch of yeses maybe in the future that you don't even think about, and then they show up. So you might a little exercise today. You might look around you, look around your life, look around what you're doing, look around work, everything else, and say, what am I doing just because I kind of stumbled into this and it just kind of worked out and it was nice. We had a good time together. Now what am I doing? Something to think about, right? How do you take control of this? The goal to get to more yeses to yourself. Well, here's how you do it. There's only two ways to avoid the law of reciprocity, but you got to be conscious about it. Here's number one. When somebody offers to give you something free, a gift, just say no, thank you. It's hard, isn't it? Because usually they really want you to have it because there's something in it for them. Not always. Again, go with me on this, all right? But just don't accept it. But that's hard to do. So I usually do the next thing. I don't want to take it away from somebody if they wanted to give something to me. So I'll say thank you very much, but I do not accept the obligation. In the future, I can still say no. And if they come back to me and they say, remember when I did this for you? It's like a really loud no. Either don't accept it or be willing to say no when the favor is called back in. Again, all in light of how do you say yes to yourself more. Now, there's another way to say yes to yourself. Remember that old line? You'll hear me say this a lot. Leonardo da Vinci. He was an artist, an engineer, a thinker. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Not minimalism, not doing less for the sake of it, but just choosing what actually deserves a yes. If you want a simpler life, choose what deserves a yes. And I'll go so far as to say this. You don't have to say no. I have a concept called going dark. Every now and then you hear me talk about it. Scott say, don't get so dark. Don't go dark. All I mean is this. Well, if somebody wants you to say yes, how about ghosting? How about not saying anything? You do it all the time anyway, don't you? I do it on social media constantly. I ghost and post, or post and ghost. I do it. I rarely get involved in a conversation. You know why? There's more trouble coming down the road. The very minute I respond to somebody, man, I've created this reciprocity loop and it's crazy stuff. And now I'm obligated to keep in the conversation. At least 3 times in a happy face, yay, thumbs up, and oh, it's over now. I used to think doing stuff like that and saying no is selfish or risky or something you learn later in life. It has surprised me how much relief shows up when you simply pause before you agree on something. And you could do that today. We teach a concept called a pre-planned response. If you've never heard me teach that concept, you should learn it. All it is, for instances, if you had a pre-planned response that said any time today that somebody asked you for something and wanted you to say yes to something, your response was, maybe it could be, can I get back to you tomorrow? Let me think about that. I don't know right now. I'll get back with you. Or, no. If you had a pre-planned response for everything, including when you didn't know what to say, and it was basically to stop anything else from happening, you know how much easier your life would be? Try it today. Try it today. Go see if this works for you. It works for me all the time, and it's very hard to do. The goal is to say yes to yourself more, and sometimes we say yes to yourself more by saying no to other people. Respectfully, right? Silence is good, respectfully. Good enough. It really is good enough sometimes. And sometimes the only thing required for you to take in that moment is to take a breath and realize you're in the moment. Again, the goal to get to saying yes to yourself, even if it's just saying no to everything else around you. And that is hard, especially if there's like Oreo cookies involved. It really, really is difficult to do. Of course, not everything needs an answer. Remember that. You don't have to answer everything. Talking to me, a guy who tries to, it's like my job to answer almost everything, right? But not everything needs an answer. Urgency is often borrowed. Somebody else's urgent is not yours. Most of us are tired from conversations that we have never agreed to have. How much has that happened to you? And no, breathing is still non-negotiable. You can stop and breathe and not talk, right?